This video is sponsored by OWC. Apple still has quite a lot planned for the second half of 2022. And so in this video, we're going to quickly go over 5 of the more anticipated and exciting products that we can expect to see later this year. Now, these are in no particular order, but we'll start off with our first product on the list, and that's the new MacBook Air. We've actually talked a lot about this new MacBook Air already, but for those who need a refresher, we can actually expect to see an entirely different design. There's going to be no more tapered edges like this one that we have here. That's all going to change. We're going to instead expect models to transition into a more MacBook Pro uniform design. We're also expecting this new MacBook Air to come in a variety of different color options, similar to those like the M1 iMac. That came in, I don't know, like purple, blue, green, pink, orange, or was it red and orange? There were pastel colors in the front. Not quite sure if they're going to stick with that whole pastel color scheme or whatever it might be, but that's kind of what we're expecting, something along those lines of colors. But the interesting color changes come inside of the new MacBook Air, rumored to feature, or at least when you open the lid, it's rumored to feature a white bezel and off-white keyboard. Now, as far as the display goes, it's likely that Apple sticks with an LCD display and does not go the route of mini LED for this model. We are unsure of whether or not the notch will make an appearance, but I can assure you it's going to look incredibly interesting and certainly stand out more with a white bezel border. Not sure if it's good or bad thing, but I guess we'll find out. Only time will tell. On the inside, rumors have been kind of all over the place on which chip Apple can actually feature with the new MacBook Air. Some think it'll be Apple's new second generation M2 chip, but others feel like the likely choice is going to be another M1 chip variety for these new machines. We are expecting the MacBook Air to launch in 2022, but a firm timeline has not yet been established. Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo expects mass production to begin in late second quarter or early third quarter, suggesting a launch sometime around September, while Bloomberg has actually suggested that the new MacBook Air will come later this fall. Now, sticking with the Mac, we actually have another Mac that's widely anticipated, and that's the new Mac Pro. Now, this is highly anticipated or intriguing because we do know it's coming for sure, but we don't really know a lot about the machine. Rumors suggest that 2 variations of Mac Pros could be coming this year, but one of them actually ended up being the Mac Studio, which did happen. The Mac Pro for 2022 should be Apple's most powerful computer on paper, but also support the same design as its current generation, that stainless steel frame that we have. But it's unclear what will be able to be customized inside of this new machine. Now, one would assume PCIe slots will play a bigger role than ever in terms of customization when it comes to the Mac Pro, but it'll be intriguing to see if any of the SSD, RAM, or GPU options will be able to be tweaked later on down the road when you receive your Mac Pro, aka can you have this be modular with those 3 specific sections? And considering that Apple ties all of that into one singular silicon chip, I don't know how that's going to work. Also, which chip will make its way into the Mac Pro? The high-end Mac Studio is equipped with an M1 Ultra chip that's essentially 2 M1 Max chips connected together, and the M1 Ultra features a 20-core CPU and up to 64 cores of GPU power. It outperforms the 28-core Xeon Mac Pro with the highest-end graphics card, and the Mac Pro is expected to feature an even more powerful successor to the M1 Ultra that'll be equipped with 40 CPU cores and up to 128 graphics cores. So I'm guessing they're just going to take 2 M1 Ultras and stick those together, but who knows? Apple could do what it did with the current Mac Pro and announce it at WWDC in June, but then release it later on in the year. But of course, we'll have to wait and see on that front. Moving on to an entirely different product line, obviously we can expect to see a new iPhone for 2022. The iPhone 14 could bring some radical design changes, at least in terms of the notch area, as it appears Apple could be moving away from the notch and onto a hole and pill-shaped cutout, at least for the Pro models. This will deliver a bit more screen real estate, but also bring it more in line with some of the other edge-to-edge display phones we've seen made from other manufacturers. The camera should receive a hefty upgrade, as well as Apple is planning to bump up the wide-angle main sensor megapixel count to a whopping 48 megapixels, up from the current 12 that's featured on the iPhone 13. This would not only pave the way for improved photos, but also bring in 8K recording for video, which would be the first time an iPhone has ever had this functionality. 120 Hz refresh rates will continue to be supported for Pro models on the displays. Rumors suggested that the entire lineup could get this LTPO OLED display with the higher refresh rate, but it appears that it might not happen due to the display availability issues, and so the Pro models will most likely retain that exclusivity when it comes to 120 Hz, at least for this year. The frame of the iPhone 14 Pro models could come with a high-end titanium alloy frame rather than the stainless steel that's currently featured in higher-end models, and Apple may be transitioning away from SIM slots entirely and moving strictly to eSIM this year. AirPods Pro are also due for an update, and the second generation could be coming in the second half of 2022, according to analyst Ming-Chi Kuo. As far as what we can expect in terms of changes, Kuo has claimed that the second generation AirPods Pro will feature a significantly improved wireless chip compared to the H1 chip that's in the original pair of AirPods Pro. The chip powers audio-related functions like active noise cancellation, and improvements to this technology could result in improved battery life for longer listening time per charge. Kuo also expects the new AirPods Pro to support lossless audio on Apple Music. Kuo has also claimed that the new AirPods Pro charging case will be able to emit a sound in order to help users find it when it's misplaced, and it's also likely that the charging case will have a water resistance like the third generation AirPods charging case. Last but not least, we can expect to see an update to Apple's Apple Watch, presumably called the Apple Watch Series 8. And this is one of those products that kind of goes under the radar every single year in terms of the amount of leaks and rumors that we get. Last year, we actually had a lot of rumors suggesting a pretty significant design change, only to then be disappointed and find out that there was a change, but it was a lot more subtle than what we were expecting. Display analyst Ross Young has also suggested that the Apple Watch Series 8 could come in 3 sizes instead of 2, with Apple adding a larger size that would join the 41 and 45 millimeter size options. According to Bloomberg, Apple is working on a version of the Apple Watch with a rugged casing that's aimed at athletes, hikers, and others who use their watches in more extreme conditions than day-to-day wear. It will feature the same functionality as a standard Apple Watch, but with improved impact resistance and protection. Apple is expected to launch the rugged Apple Watch in 2022. In terms of the health features that we can expect with the Series 8, Apple has been rumored to be working on blood pressure monitoring, a thermometer for fertility and sleep tracing, sleep apnea detection, and diabetes detection. Some of these features could be introduced in the Series 8, but it's unclear which, if any, of these sensors will be ready for a release later this year. Now, a body temperature sensor could be added to the Apple Watch as soon as 2022. The temperature sensor would be initially used for fertility planning, but in future versions of the Apple Watch, it could be used to determine if a user has a higher body temperature than normal, but it's unlikely to show an actual measurement. And that's it. These are some of the highly anticipated, more exciting products that we can expect Apple to release in 2022. But of course, I'd love to know your thoughts on everything in the comments down below. And before we end today's video, I do want to give you more information about today's sponsor, OWC. If you're in the market for new Thunderbolt 4 cables, I would definitely avoid grabbing the one from Apple, as prices from Apple are astronomical. Thankfully, OWC has you covered with 3 different sizes at 3 affordable price points. You can actually get a cable ranging anywhere from less than a meter to 2 meters in length, and they would go anywhere from $24 to $57. These cables are certified safe for 100 watts of charging, up to 40 gigabytes per second in performance, and 100% compatible across all platforms, charging docks, displays, and other devices. For more information about these cables or anything else that OWC has to offer, visit the link in the description down below. This has been Dan with Mac Rumors. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you around in the next video.